it all behind you. I said, take down everything that stands in your way. Don't stop believing it'll work out again, my friend. Stand out and be a part of everything good. Wake up, you're gonna be all that you should. Try out all the things you always wanted to be. You'll see, 'cause I know what I know, that you've got it in you, and I see that you are a winner.
Ever see the movie Frankenstein, when the mad scientist brings to life the creature, and the creature thrashes its way out of its bonds, walks toward his creator. Ooh. And the creator's, oh my gosh, he's running for his life from the thing that he has made. He's running for his life, clearly regretting that he ever made the monster. So, on Facebook, there have been some people under HuffPost Religion vehemently complaining about anti-theists, and the fact that anti-theists exist, and the fact that anti-theists speak out against Christianity and theism, and just the fact that there's always this effort to cram the Christian beliefs down atheists' throats. Anti-theists, basically, my thought is anti-theists are probably more often than not former theists. You know, we haven't lived our whole life being the bad guy. You know, we've lived, at least for me, I can only speak from my experience really, I've lived the majority of my life being one of the privileged majority. I'm used to being able to say what I think and having people, oh, good job, Diane, way to speak out, that's exactly what I feel too, Diane, yay, you know, getting kudos and getting all the support. That's what I'm used to. I'm used to being one of the more outspoken majority, and so I'm not used to being the one that's getting persecuted. I'm not used to being the one that's being called Satan incarnate or whatever. So as an atheist, I kind of surrendered, gave up, lost the benefits of being among the privileged majority. Now when I say my mind and what I think, it's bad. It's negative. It's unwanted. It's why don't you just shut up? Why are you atheists constantly here complaining and saying things that we don't want to hear? That's what I got now. I'm doing the same thing as a atheist, more or less, that I did as a Christian. Only now, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I was born again and I'm so happy, I'm saying, I didn't realize what happiness was until I let go of the chains of this cult. When I started saying the message, a contrary message to what the majority wanted to hear, suddenly I became bad, negative, hateful, angry. All these things that everything that's negative, that's what, if it doesn't agree with Christianity, it's negative, it's hateful, it's angry, it's bad. And you're bad, and you need Jesus, you need to be saved. Christians don't like outspoken atheists. The difference between a new atheist and an old atheist is, and this is just again my take on it, in the days gone by, atheists didn't have any reason to speak out. They just tried to, as best as they could, to live and let live. But I don't know, maybe it's because of the internet. There's more, the mouse drinking from his water is really throwing off my concentration. if you can hear that noise. Because of the internet, there's more in your face Christianity than there ever was before. It's harder for an atheist to just go about their life and not have to be subjected to Christianity on a daily basis. I mean, I literally did go to a video about Secretariat and find oh, God worked through this magnificent creature. Secretariat is evidence of God's whatever, wonderful power. Really, a video about a racehorse. You go to a video about evolution or science, any science. It doesn't have to be evolution. Any science at all. And you will find Christianity there, mocking other people's enjoyment of science, other people's appreciation of science, mocking science itself, mocking the pursuit of knowledge, mocking the desire to learn and discover and understand. You will find Christians there mocking. It is really hard to go anywhere on the internet and not find Christians mocking. And so I think it's harder for an atheist to have the live and let live approach. It's harder. I mean, if you're not on the internet, if you're only interacting with people that you know aren't going to attack you or judge you just because you don't believe Christianity, then maybe, yeah, you can continue to live and let live. Or if you're really good at having blinders on and just not see all the tons of posts all the time putting you down, calling you immoral, saying you have no morality, saying you have an inability to even know the difference between good and bad because you're not a Christian. If you're somehow able to just ignore all that, just ignore it. Oh, there it is over there. Oh, it's over here now. Okay. Oh, it's okay. I mean, if you can do that and you don't get exhausted because you have to do that continually, or maybe you just know better and you don't go anywhere except on your Facebook page. You just don't go anywhere except right where you know it's safe. So you're still managing to live and let live. But most people want to explore. They're on the internet. They want to explore. They want to read articles. They want to see videos. They want to enjoy what is there on the internet. I remember when I used to post under AOL comments about various articles, there was constantly religious bullshit going on under. It doesn't matter what the article was about. You go down to the comments section and there was the Christians attacking atheism or science or anything. If you're not a Christian, it's deserving to be attacked. So I was thinking about the whole Frankenstein thing. It's like Christians get upset about the idea that anti-theists exist. Anti-theists, I think my idea of what an anti-theist is just an atheist who's fed up, who's angry, who has had enough of being told that they should just get out of the country if they don't like the under God in the pledge, or just being told you're not patriotic because you're not a Christian, or just being told that, it's okay for us to have our religion in schools, but you can't have your atheism in schools, or just getting tired of having Christian Bibles in hotel rooms in the drawers of dressers. Atheists who are just tired of having people assume that you're not trustworthy or good because you're an atheist. In the states where atheists can't even run for office, any other minority group can run for office, as long as they're citizens of this country and born in this country, any other minority group can run for office in these 8 states, but not atheists. People who just get tired of being on the short end of the stick, who speak out. Those are usually people who are atheists, but they're fed up and they've had enough and they want to fight back. They want to speak out against something that they know is a harmful thing, they see as a harmful thing in the world. They want to speak out. They want to be in opposition of this harmful thing. Those are anti-theists. They're not just atheists. They don't just, I don't believe in God, and continue on with their life. They're people who oppose the thing that's constantly trying to squash them and make them not exist. The thing that wants to wipe atheism from the face of the planet. Those atheists who are opposed to that are anti-theists. Those are the ones that speak out. And Christians who hate anti-theism, who hate anti-theists, who bitch and moan on Facebook or YouTube about how horrible anti-theists are. Oh, those anti-theists are just, here they come. I predict that any minute now we're going to have an anti-theist show up and bitch and moan. Those Christians who like to bitch and moan about the people that are upset and resentful and angry and just fed up, why do they never stop and think about what has created anti-theists? What has caused anti-theists to exist in the first place? It's like Frankenstein, the scientist, the mad scientist who creates the monster. It's alive! It's alive! He creates the monster. Behold, look what I have done! And then immediately regrets it when the monster gets up and starts to chase him. Now maybe the monster's a little bit upset because he's been electrocuted, because he was sleeping peacefully in death and now he's been brought back as a monstrous form of life. You know? The monster might not be very happy with what has just happened to him. That he has been made to live in a body that looks and probably doesn't feel so good either. Not really human, not really anything, but still alive. The monster's angry, and the monster chases the thing that created him and wants to destroy the thing that created him. The monster is resentful. The monster is bitter. The monster might just be a little bit angry because it has been created. And the scientist is running and of course wants to destroy the monster now because the monster is a threat. Kind of reminds me of Christians who bitch and moan and want to destroy, or just bitch and moan about the fact that anti-theists exist. Oh my gosh, those horrible anti-theists. Oh, they're persecuting us poor majority Christians. Oh, poor me. But who created the anti-theists? Who created people who are angry and resentful and tired and fed up with having their feelings and their beliefs squashed? I mean, Christians go so far as to deny atheists the simple right to have an opinion, the simple right to have their own conclusions and beliefs. I don't really think a God exists. I don't see any reason for a God to exist. I don't see any evidence of a God. I don't see anything on this world that God is affecting in any way. You know, you don't see God, a God or gods manifesting themselves on the planet. Everything on this planet has a natural explanation. You know? And I forgot where I was going with this. An atheist who says that, who has an opinion, who dares to speak that they don't believe, and this is why they don't believe. They have come to the conclusion, and this is why they have come to the conclusion. And what does the Christian do to an atheist like that? Well, yes, you do believe. You really do. Everybody believes in God. Everybody believes in my beliefs. Everybody knows that my beliefs are the truth. Everybody knows that my beliefs are the only way and that God really exists. Everybody believes it, including you. You just don't think you believe. Or you're in denial. That's what it is. You're in denial. You believe, but you're in denial because you just love your sin so much. So you're in denial. You don't even let atheists believe what they believe. You don't even let atheists have their own opinion or their own conclusions or their own beliefs. You instead of arguing with an atheist, you don't really think that. You really do believe what I believe. You don't even let people have their own opinion. You don't even give them the common courtesy and the common right, or the common right, the right. You deny people the right to have, I mean, to me that's the ultimate in arrogance. How fucking dare you? And yet how many times have I heard a Christian say that, well, there's no such thing as an atheist. Everybody believes in God. It says so right in the Bible. He is without excuse. It says it right in my Bible, which is inspired by God. And I know it's inspired by God because it says it is. I know it's inspired by God because my church says it is. And so because my book says this, and I know it's inspired by God, you just don't get to have an opinion. You think you believe something, but you really don't. You really believe just exactly like I do. Sorry, you don't get to have a different opinion. You don't get to have a contradictory opinion from mine. You just like your sin. You just want to keep sinning, so you're in denial. How many times have atheists had Christians treat them like this? And then they want to know why atheists are resentful. And they don't like anti-theists. They don't like people who are angry and tired and fed up and resentful. They don't like us. Just like Frankenstein's creator didn't, or I'm sorry, the monster is not, well, anyway, I get those mixed up. The scientist's name is Frankenstein. He doesn't like the monster so much that he has created, and he runs from it. Christianity doesn't really like the anti-theists that they have created. Would anti-theists exist? Or at least the ones that are anti-Christianity. Would they exist if Christianity didn't treat people the way it does? If Christianity didn't treat atheists the way it does, would there be anti-theists? Would there be people who are attacking Christianity and opposing it and speaking out? Would those people have such a presence now if Christianity didn't do what it does? Why do Christians as a whole, why does not Christianity as a whole, they don't like being called a cult, so why don't they just stop acting like a cult? Maybe if they acted like a religion a little bit more and a cult a little bit less. I don't have Hindus knocking on my door trying to shove their beliefs down my throat and telling me that I'm a bad person for not being a Hindu. I don't even have people who are Muslims knocking on my door trying to shove Islam down my throat and telling me I'm a bad person for not believing in Allah. Seems to me only Christianity and the offshoot cults do this. And then they want to know why people oppose them. They say to me that I don't really believe what I believe. I really believe what they believe. I'm just in denial. And they get upset that I am resentful of this. They get upset that I get angry. They get upset that I want to speak out against a cult that does this. Why doesn't Christianity, if they don't like anti-theism or anti-theists, why don't they think a little bit harder about what they can do to stop upsetting people and pissing people off? What changes could Christianity make in how they approach other people and how they get along with other people? Maybe, I don't know, show respect for other people's beliefs. Show respect for other people's feelings. Christians don't like having their precious beliefs attacked because, oh my gosh, their beliefs are a part of who they are. It's part of their identity. If you attack their beliefs, you're attacking them. And yet they don't seem to understand that the opposite is true, that for the next person, that for the atheist, it's the same. To the atheist, their beliefs are part of them and part of their identity. And when you attack atheism, you're attacking the person. When you attack somebody who doesn't believe and say, oh yes, you do believe, you're in denial. You're attacking the person. You're squashing that person's right to have a conclusion and opinion that's different than yours. If Christians don't like anti-theists, there's one thing Christians can do to stop people from being so angry, to stop those angry atheists, to stop those anti-theists. Live and let live. Christians want us to have that live and let live. They miss the olden days when atheists mostly just let live people who were religious. They miss those days. Well, if they want to go back to the days when people did live and let live, they need to practice a little bit of it themselves. You want people to treat you with respect? Christians, treat people with respect who don't believe as you. Treat people who don't believe, period, with the same respect that you want to be treated with. If people don't believe, it's because you have failed to convince them. That's it. It's not their fault that they don't believe. You have failed to convince them. That does not make them bad, horrible people. It means you have failed to convince them. So stop treating them like they're bad, horrible people. Start treating them with respect. Start understanding that there's a reason some people don't believe in God. You have not convinced them. They still have a right to have a happy life and be treated with respect and, run for office and be treated like they're trustworthy until they prove that they're not. Live and let live, Christians. If you want that kind of courtesy, then you need to give that kind of courtesy to others. It's really very simple. You get what you give. You dish out things that cause angry, hurt people. You're gonna get angry, hurt people. So that's what I have to say about anti-theists. I'm an anti-theist, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm not ashamed of it. I think there's a need for it. I think there's a need for the little kid on the playground who's been beaten up for a really long time to stand the fuck up and say, I've had enough, and hit back. Because that little kid's rights and that little kid's welfare and that little kid's right to happiness matters too. I think there's nothing wrong with the little kid standing up and hitting the bully right in the face. I used to be a Christian. I used to be one of the privileged majority. I'm used to getting lots of pats on the back for saying what I think. Funny thing, when you're not a Christian and you do the same thing, you're bad. See, and that's a double standard. Nobody should be bad. Nobody should be negative. Nobody should be judged as something they're not just for disagreeing with the majority. Live and let live, Christians. It's a simple thing. If you want it, you have to give it. It's a simple thing. And if you don't like anti-theism, you need to rethink a little bit how you approach people who don't believe the same as you. Are you treating those people with respect? Or are you mocking them and calling them fools and telling them that they're blind and lost and that they need to be saved and that they need to believe just like you do? Or they deserve to be tortured forever in hell? Do you tell people that? That's not a very respectful thing to say to people. That's not a very nice thing to say. If you believe it, that's fine, but your beliefs are based on a book. It's not based on any evidence whatsoever. So understand that your beliefs may be not true. They might not be. And because there's that little tiny possibility, stop acting like it's a given that your beliefs are true. Stop treating other people like they're stupid for not believing the same way as you. That's not living and let living. That's not treating people with respect. And it's going to cause more and more anti-theists until one day there's going to be so many anti-theists that Christians are going to be very, very, very miserable. You want that? Or are you going to take a little bit of responsibility for the creatures that you have created and try to work a little bit harder on how can we stop making people so angry and resentful and pissed off? What are we doing that's wrong? Because let me tell you something. You're not drawing people to Jesus by your actions and your words. You are drawing people up and against, and you're making them run away. You're not doing anything to bring more Christians into the fold by treating people the way you do. So, okay, this is a long video. I just wanted to say what I think about that. Now I have. If you've been watching, thanks. Bye.
I am absolutely convinced that the main source of hatred in the world is religion. And I think it should be religion treated with ridicule and hatred and contempt.